Hello students, good evening to all of you. Guys, today I'm going to deliver the lecture based upon your skill in teaching exams. Many students were asking me, messages me for, orientation of the skill in teaching exam. So guys, in today's lecture, we will discuss what will come in your skill in teaching exam, right? And what you have to perform over there, right? You have given your engagement with community paper, right guys? So first of all, congratulations to all of you. You have given your paper very well. In the same pattern guys, now in skill in teaching exam, you have to perform over there, right? In your last paper, there was a viva, right guys? But in this paper, at least 20-25 minutes you have to present your lecture in front of the examiner. Okay guys, as already I have told you in my previous lectures, you can see that today I am again taking your short video regarding your skill in teaching exams, right guys? So we discuss one by one what will come in our exams, right guys? So first of all, what you have to make in your this exams, skill in teaching exams, right guys? So in skill in teaching exams, there are two things. Okay, number one is theoretical work which you have to present, and second is practical work which you have to perform, right guys? In your skill in teaching exams, you should have two macro files, right? There are your two papers. One is teaching of pedagogy 1, one is teaching of pedagogy 2, right? For example, one is teaching of SST and again is teaching of English, right guys? So these two copies you have to prepare, and what you have to do in these copies you have already done, right? I'm just taking one more lecture, revision lecture, so that you should be aware to all of you, right guys? In each file you should have, see my next PPT, in each files you should have 40 lessons, right? 40 lessons in each PPT, right guys? Again in the 40 lessons, there should be division of 2 discussions and 38 lessons, right guys? All of you check in your file, right? In your macro files, guys, this is called the macro files, right? This is called macro files, okay? So this terminology you should know that, okay? It is also, being asked by the examiner, okay? What is the name of that file? वो जो मोटी वाली फाइल है आपकी, right? 40 lessons you have written during your teaching practice. This is called the macro files. Under the macro files, you have to see, again you have to check it. There should be a 40 lessons each, right? Under the 40 lessons, 2 discussion lessons and 38 general lessons, okay? It is called the general lesson, macro lessons, okay? You can give any of the name. Second guys, you have to check, there should be a 10 observation lessons in your file. In the back of the files you have written, these are called the observation lessons. It means, for example, you are teaching to your students and another student, behind the chairs, he is observing you, he or she is observing you. This is called the observation lesson. 10 observation lessons should be there. And the third is action research report, right guys? There should be a action research report. ये सभी ने आपने देखना है. You have to check in your file whether you have made it or not. If not, so then you can make the action research report, okay? Even you have consulted with your colleges, okay? They have already guided you. But once again I am guiding you, right guys? One more important thing. Sometimes, many colleges, along with these 3 things, they check your, micro lessons, right? 5, there should be a 5. Micro skills. Micro skills should be there, right? 5 micro skills. For example, skill of introducing the class. This is a 1 skill, right? I have already discussed with you. Skill of explaining the lecture, right? Skill of questioning. Skill of, writing on the blackboard. So these 4 or 5 skills you can make additionally on your files, right guys? Sometimes it is checked by the colleges, right guys? 5 micro skills. This is called micro skills. Similarly, in the teaching 2, right? In the teaching 2 file you have to make, right? the same thing whatever you have made in the teaching 1 file, the same thing you have to make in teaching 2 files, right guys? I think it is clear to you. This is a part of the theoretical part, right? And second, I have already told you, in your skill in teaching exam, there are 2 things. One is your theoretical part being checked by the examiner, and second is your presentation, your practical part, right guys? Under practical part, what you have to do, we check in the next slide, right? What you have to do. So under this, you have to, this is the presentation part, right guys? Under the presentation part, you have to perform, okay? And you have to perform these 3 things. You can read on the, blackboard. So first is your final lesson plan, right guys? So this is your final lessons plan, right? Whatever the lessons you have to perform over there. For example, you have the teaching combination. One is SST and one is English, right? One final lesson plan of SST you have to present over there, and second day you have to present the second teaching subject over there. But along with these lessons, you should have, handwritten copies of, 2. Means whatever the lessons you are performing, you have to write also, right guys? And there should be 2 copies. It should be handwritten. One is checked by the internal examiner, one is checked by the external examiner, right guys? So 2 copies you should have. Second, this is the important. Guys, whenever you have to teach, you are delivering your lessons, okay? Already students would be there, okay? School students would be there. You have to deliver the lessons in front of the students, and on the back of, examiner will check you, will observe you. Based upon their lessons, they will give you the marks, right guys? So guys, this is the important thing. Along with your lesson plan, you have to use your teaching aid also, right? Teaching aid, as I have already told you, there are, many types of a teaching aid. Either it can be a, model, right? Teaching aid can be a chart, right guys? Your teaching aid can be a flashcards, right? Flashcards. Please, you should know the name, okay? It can ask by the examiner also, okay? Right? After when you're finishing the lessons, he can also ask, tell me the name of another teaching aids. So you should have knowledge of these, right guys? Real objects, it can also be your teaching aids, right? But guys, I recommend to all of you, use at least, model in your teaching aid, okay? Right? Means whatever you are performing your lessons, you have to make the model, right? Model kya hoga? It should be on, it should not be on the thermal coal, right? It should be on the hard board, like जैसे कोई गत्ता टाइप होता है, right? Hard board के ऊपर you have to make your model, right? And it should be wrapped, guys, okay? The same I'm, presenting in front of you. Board के ऊपर you have to write, and along with the model which you have to show, it should be hanged near the blackboard, okay? And it should be wrapped with the newspaper. While you are teaching, it should be wrapped. When you have to display the model, immediately you can unwrap and you can display to the student, right guys? This is the method of displaying the model in front of the students, okay? And your lecture should be of, you have to prepare 25 to 30 minutes, okay guys? So it depends upon the examiner whether he checks for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even for the 5 minutes. But guys, you have to prepare at least 25 to 30 minutes. Okay guys, so thank you so much for this short video guys, right? I think you have cleared each and everything, right? Under the theoretical part, see in the previous slide, under the theoretical part, you have to prepare 2 teaching files, right? 40 lessons plan, 10 observation, action research report, and sometime some colleges check your, micro skills, right guys? So there should be 5 micro skills you have to make, right guys? 5 micro skills. This is this slide, right? Along with 5 micro skills. pen, I'm using this black one, and 5 micro skills. This is the important, okay? Sometimes student miss 5 micro skills. Skill of introducing the lesson, skill of explaining, skill of asking the questions, okay? You have the time, you can make it, okay? Same thing you have to do in the second file. And next is your third slide. This is your final lessons plan, right? You have to present your final lesson plan along with the teaching aid, and final lesson plan, it should be of the 2 copies each of your lesson plan. One is checked by the examiner, one is checked by the internal and external examiner, and last it should be of 25 to 30 minutes. Right guys, thank you so much for this lecture. Thank you so much again.